Bless us abundantly. In Jesus' name. If you look up, I will give you a gift. Battle is part of life. Let me say again. Battle is part of life. That is why living must, as we are living, we must prepare for battle. Anybody who is alive must prepare for battle. It is only through winning we continue to live. Let me say again. I say it is only through winning we continue to live. We must learn to continue to live, because battle is part of life. Why every child that is born must cry? It's because the moment that a child is born, the ray of light enter into the eyes of that child, and the child will start crying. Now, why the child is crying is because the child has entered into a world of battle to fight for himself. When he was in the womb, the mother was fighting for him. Now, when the ray of sun come upon him, the womb will block it. Now, but when he was born and he opened his eyes, the womb didn't block that ray of light. So he started crying. I said the womb didn't do what? The womb didn't block it. So the light shone on him. And he knew that from that time, he will fight. So wow. Why? What an evil world of battle. That's what the child is saying. Why? And if the child didn't cry, the mother must beat him to cry. If he didn't cry, then two things are possible. Either he's a witch or he's about to die. So you should hit him so that he can start crying, because he has entered into an evil world. We are fighting. It's inevitable. So, any destiny God gives to you is a destiny you must fight for. And how glorious that destiny is will determine the kind of enemy, the destiny we have. Let me say it again. I say how glorious that destiny is will determine the kind of enemy that particular destiny will do what? That particular destiny we have. Every destiny has an enemy. Behind the royalty of David was an enemy called Goliath. Now, sometimes some people behave as if they will not fight. Why? Why? Life arranges battle. Let me say again. I say life arranges battle. Now, don't forget that the battle that you're fighting here, you will fight today, is not peculiar to you. Everybody will fight. But battle for us differs. I would like you to listen. Haman made up his mind to kill Mordecai and all the Jews. So Mordecai and Esther fought in Shushan. David faced Goliath and killed him that he might reign. Jesus fought Satan and death and conquered two of them. Me, I know my enemy. There are major enemies, there are minor enemies. I said there are major enemies and there are minor enemies. There are different kinds of enemies for different people. Be careful about your enemy, because you will have it. There are small enemies and there are major enemies. But I want to tell you that God does not give a life that is free from battle. Let me say again. I say God does not give us a life that is free. Can I say it again? I say God does not give us a life that is free from battle. Now, if the glory of your life is big, so is the enemy. Am I saying something? I said, so is the enemy. The enemy is always as big as the glory. If you look at 3 people, 4 people, high level of glory will make a demand on life. It made a demand on the life of Joseph. It made a demand on the life of Esther. It made a demand on the life of David. It made a demand on Jesus. In fact, Jesus have to die. Hebrews 2:14, the Bible says he died to conquer death and Satan. So why do you want to stay without enemies? Why do you want to stay without battles? Why? There can't be glory without victory. Your enemy is there. In fact, some people have pretended that their enemies are not there, so they are subdued. They stay under. There are people that their land is taken by the enemy. That's why they don't have house. Some people, their cars are taken by the enemies. And then when the enemy took their car, they say it is God's way for them to be taken. It's a lie. An evil power is riding your car. An ancient beast. Somebody say, it's God's will. I don't have a child yet. So how can it be God's will? An enemy took your children. You have to fight. Like this night, we're going to do fight, and I keep on telling her, I say, look at something, she blew up. We have to fight. There are members of this church that are trapped somewhere. Yeah. We have to set them free. We have to fight for them to be free. Even anointing that can make a man of God popular, you have to still fight. In fact, let me ask you to listen. It is the battle you win that means the crown on your head. It is a battle. In fact, one of the ways to know who you are is the battle God revealed to you that you must fight. God does not reveal only anointing. He reveals your enemies. Me, I know my major enemy. And I know what I will use to win. Let me say again. I say, me, I know my major enemy, and I know what I will use. So when some enemies, small enemies say I should fight, I say, listen, I'm not here to waste my virtue in small battles. But if it's that you will fight, you will fight. If you fold your hand, just like you're hearing me, if you make up your mind that from now till next week that you will fast and pray every night, some enemies will show up after 3 days. I said they will show up. They didn't show up before because they subdued you. When you take decision to be free, they came up. If you make up your mind and say, I'm going to stay 10 days to find out the devil that took my money, and then the devil that took your money will show up. But if you relax and be trekking up and down, the devil will not worry. As long as you're already subdued. But if it's God will depend on your value to win, you must find out what you have and use it immediately. Listen, life is all about discovery. Victory is in discovery. Prepare for battle. Take authority over people who are slowing you down. And then fight and stay. Please hear me. Listen. I was in Kano for 14 years. I was relaxed. Wanting to build a church wanted to take over a whole street to call it our church. Because I was already planning on how I will connect our church to one side, just like the way this place is, to connect to the other building. Build a flyover across. The Lord said, listen, you have to go to Lagos. Now when I came to Lagos, I started fighting new enemies. I went to school later, was there for 7 days, 7 years. And then he came here. The enemies I fought in Surulere were different from the one I met here. I came here to start fighting you. In Surulere, we've already had 3-story building church. And here, I came here to look for land. So we came for fresh battle. So every day there are battles. Destiny make demand on fighting. The more you fight and win, the more you fight. God said to Joshua, he said, there are so many battles, there are so many lands to be taken. Joshua chapter 13. I just want to read one line. After Joshua have killed 31 kings and took 31 kingdoms, God said to him, he said, you are now old and there are so many lands to take. He started talking about, he said, so many land of the flood of Jeshurun. He said, of the Gezites. Joshua was surprised with all that he has done. God is still telling him, there are so many lands to take. He asked me to tell you that life involves fighting. When you win, start fighting new enemy. Look at the king, 12:24. 31 kings and 31 kingdoms of Joshua. He said the king of Tiza, 1, and all kings, 30
and 1.
13:1. 13:1. And then now Joshua was old and stinking in years. And the Lord said unto him, thou art old and stinking in years, and there remaineth yet
very much land to be possessed.
Thank you. That means as the more Joshua was winning, the more God was saying there are so many. And then if 2, he said, and all the land that yet to remain are the borders of the Philistines and all Geshuri. Number 3, he said from Sihon, from before,
which is before Egypt,
unto the border of Ekron, not one, which is counted unto Canaanite, 5 lords of Philistines, and the Gezatites and the Ashdodites, the Hittites, the Escronites, and the Avites. The next verse, he said from the south on all the land of Canaan, the Mira,
that is beside the
Sidonians and the Afak,
to the borders
of the Amorites. God was telling Joshua. And then somebody who has killed 31 kings. In every battle, God gives men support. When God gives you a battle, He gives you support. But you should know what your support look like. Let me say again. I say when God gives you battle, He gives you support. What you will use to win is with you. I say whatever you will use to win is with you already. You should find out what is it that you will use to win. If you're a lion, you will know that lions are animals of strength. Lions use strength to win. So what do you have to win with? But as for fighting, you will fight. And the more, if God is with you, how to know is that He arranges battles. The more you win, the more you fight. But yet, He will say, I will be with you. There is something I want to say before I stop. Before I go to another sharing on that. God, when Joshua was about to take leadership from Moses, listen, God started talking to Joshua on how to win. He said, Joshua, this is how I will help you. Number 1, recognize that you are Moses' servant. That you are Moses' servant. And that I don't know you. I will help you from Moses. And the land you will take is the one I gave from Moses, from the wilderness. God defined it. And then He came back and said, don't allow the book of the law in 1:8 of Joshua to depart. And then He came back and said 3 times in one verse. He said, be courage. He said, be strong and be of good courage. And then in 1:5 he said, and I will be with you. Now, when God gives you instruction and you keep it, he will be with you. The essence of instruction is to depend on your obedience to instruction to be with you. That means if God have not given instruction, don't fight. He must give you instruction of support so that you will know what to do to attract his support. In 17 of Exodus, he said, Joshua, I am in the battle. When you go to Rephidim, you choose men. But Moses and Aaron and Hur will be in the mountain for you, praying while you are fighting in the valley. That is how you will win. Some people like to fight without prescription. There are enemies you will fight alone, and there are some you will fight with other people. You will need team. Don't fight battles the same way all the time. Did I say very well? I said don't use the same method to win. Or now when a battle comes, find out the method you will use to win that particular one. There are some you will fight alone. There are some you will need like another person to join you. Am I saying something? There are problems that when they come, you pray alone. There are some you tell one or two persons to join you in prayer. There are some that when they come, you sow seed. If you have daddy in the Lord, you call him. He said, come, I want you to pray about this. There's a challenge. You call him. You tell him about it. You can't fight it because it is a higher battle. He stays from place of ordination to judge it. That is why we cannot trifle with relationships, particularly viable relationships. There are enemies you don't confront because they are not meant for you. Enemies that is looking for your root, you should tell your root to fight it. Did you hear what I said? One day I told somebody, I said, let me warn you. I said, don't be broke in your life to lack what you will give me in seasons. I told her, when you need to buy me a new suit, don't be broke to lack money, because it will devalue you. There are certain nonchalance that wearies your angel of help. Renew covenant with a source regularly to strengthen the angel of your help. And as God is blessing you, increase the strength of that angel by going to that head regularly. When I was trying to teach in the night there, I told them that somebody have to buy me bread, somebody should buy me juice, and I told them they should give it to me before 12, and they didn't give it to me. I don't know whether they forgot, but I didn't forget. Now I told them to buy me that bread and that juice because that thing I was about to them require exchange. It's not everything that God give free. I said it's not everything. Now it is not everything you get. You go to a man of God and say pray for you. There are some things you take from men of God by sowing seed to them. By caring for them. You don't need you don't need their prayer. You don't need their prayer. You need to connect. And then the battle will be won. Don't tell your angel to help you when you're starving the angel. Am I saying something? I said, don't starve the angel. and keep telling the angel, excuse me, do extra thing. Sometimes you have not honored the angel of your life because you're trying to tell the angel that you don't have. Angels don't listen. They don't listen that you don't have. They don't want to hear. Now, when you say to them that you don't have, they believe you are devalued. Because Jacob in 27 said to Esau, I need to eat vinegar. You can't explain it. You don't explain vinegar. You go out of your way to get it. To renew covenant of help. Did you hear what I said? I said you go out of your way to renew. You were there in Galilee. Pastor Victor told us that when it was time for him to buy me this car, he told somebody to sell one of his property cheap. So that I can get money in a day or two. He said, you know the price of this thing, bring it down. He said, because Shepherd need a car. And that I need a car can't be explained. You don't say you don't have money. Because when you say that, you bring yourself down. The spirit of exchange doesn't hear excuses. Rather than your paper. This I'm telling you is why poor people, because they believe that excuse can exonerate them. No, it doesn't exonerate you. Anywhere you find yourself, be useful. Wherever you find yourself, if you don't have money, be useful. Clean church, sweep it, make sure that no small sand, be useful. But any spirit you want to help you, be useful to that spirit. Let me say it again. Any spirit you want help from, don't keep demanding something from a spirit, from God, without being useful to that spirit. And find out from the spirit what the spirit through fellowship we want you to do. In your area, the way he wants you to serve him. Now, because that contribution is the only thing that can keep him around. Can you listen? God doesn't function with us through mercy. He functions through principle of exchange. So there are things you don't cry to get. You pay to get it. So in the day of paying price, you don't cry. You clean your tears and pay. Jesus was crying and still died. So it wasn't about crying. The cry couldn't have solved that problem. Sweat has dropped as blood in Gethsemane. Couldn't have solved it. No, you can't solve it. It's not meant to solve it. Am I saying something? Am I saying something? When you need to win. Now, some people got stuck up somewhere because they keep on going to God without being useful to God. Do you know how God feels? God feels very bad when all that a man do is to keep on telling him to give him something. He sees that being notorious. God believes that people are notorious when all that they do is to keep on asking him for things. And that's why he doesn't answer. But if there is a relationship between you and him, if there is between you and him, he meets you when you are serving. When you are serving. and know he has to bless you through service. Your contribution. Can I tell you something? Whatever you know how to do for God, an angel will use your face to do it. He will carry your face in doing it. So you represent that. You are a symbol of that. If you are gifted in cleaning the church, he will not, the moment you come in, he said, did you see that place? Did you see this place? Did you see this place? If you're a soul winner, the moment you come in, he will say, did you see that woman? Did you see the other man? If you like giving for building, he will say, go and find out how much is block. And you say, where do you keep money to? You will use the bar. You should find out first. He has arranged for somebody to give you money in the evening of today. You say, go and check whether there's still block there. And you didn't know. The person have not told you. You'll say, even if I check, where is the money? You say, go and check block. He has arranged for somebody to put money for that block in your account by 5 in the evening. When you see 2 million naira, 500,000, he will say, don't touch it, block. You've already calculated it. Now, God, he reasons that way. So when you are telling, when he said, go and check block, and you say you don't have money, God does not believe in lack. He believes in creating by faith. He believes in obedience first. I say he believes in creating by faith. When you obey him, he will create. Sometimes if there is not what you want, when you obey, he will call. He will call, your faith will call things that be not. The moment you can't block, he will do the B. Counting the block is the A. Then bringing the money is the B. Sometimes he delays the B because you didn't accomplish the A because of doubt. You can grow your influence before God through small sacrifice. I say through small sacrifice. Don't forget that you can keep your feeding money cut your feeding money into small. Take 200 from it for 1 week and then buy 1 bag of cement. Now, 1 bag of cement is not much yet because 1 trailer is 900. But you have exercised in faith already. You have already cultured in that way. You know what I mean by culturing? I said you have done what? You have trained. God does not forget training. You've already trained in giving. You have trained already. Me, I have trained in preaching. As I have also trained in giving. I have trained in kneeling. I have trained in sacrifice. I have trained in self-denial. Your honor is in the aggregate of your trainings. I have trained in staying awake in the night. I have trained in knowing Bible verses off hand. I have trained in fasting. I have trained in pure holy living. I have trained in discipline. So in what way have you trained? Can you train in faith? Do you know you can train in soul winning? You take one other young girl and say, come, let's go and talk to unbelievers. It's difficult for you until you master it. Don't forget that training, you don't lose it because you've already trained. You already know how to approach sinners. I have trained in the prophetic. So what have you trained on? You can train on saving, on giving. You say, Lord, no. From now till 6 weeks, I will buy 10 bags of cement. And any money that come into my hand, I will take something from it for 1 bag. You go and get paper and put 10 bags of cement. And then you go and price it. And then you're looking out. And you are looking out. And then you mention to somebody, like the day I told the guy that interlock in Kano, 2005, that he should come and take his money. When I came into that signboard, I've shared the story before, and we are 3 there. I mentioned it to somebody. The person reacted to me immediately. He didn't give me the whole money. God give you people that react to you. That's why you should keep honest people. If somebody support you to buy 1 bag or half a bag, it is still to your credit. Somebody supported you. But this thing I'm teaching you is a road to honor. You win through it. You win. You win. You win. You will remember, you will remember one day. You will remember one day that you contributed 10 blocks in a building and you were quite younger. And then when your husband said, you should build duplex somewhere and he's afraid, you tell him to, you should start. You should start. Because you're already a master in taking money. When he give you money for food, you take money for 1 bag of cement. This is after 10 years. After 5 years. When he give you money to do this, before you know it, you can buy 10 bags of cement. 10 bags. And mold block on that empty land. That is faith. You don't wait for the whole money to be there. You don't wait. And then you get another 5 bags. You mold another block. And then you send an architect to go and draw plan of that building. And you lay it on the floor of your house. And you bring God. My king will go. My king will not go. You see that plan? Shame will come on it. You see that plan on the floor? You sat down on it and you keep on praying and fasting. Shame will come on that thing. Shame, you see this king? Shame won't come. Don't wait for the whole money. Take it bit by bit. But you cannot learn it when you're married. You should learn it now. I told you, I said, this building, this one, is my 4th 3-story. So, I didn't know how I built others. Shulere Church was built 10 years. 10. Not today. Galilee about 8. 104 about 3. So is this 68 we're talking? The angel of experience didn't go. They don't go. They don't go. They don't go. The helper that come through experience, don't go. Don't go. Don't remain in one level and be talking about how you're suffering. Do something about your future. Plan your life out of pain. Can I tell you, let me say something to you before I go out of it. Can I tell you one of the ways? I say plan your life out of pen. Can I tell you something? Do you know that you can be broke, but you now have developed courage? Do you know that somebody can lack money but have courage? If somebody lack money and have courage, then poverty is crushed. Do you know that somebody can lack money and have experience? So how do you still lack money when you have courage and experience? It's not possible. It's not possible. Money will always come because you know what to do already. I said, you already know. Huh? And the angel of your help is around. When we are building Galilee Church, 104 room, there is a time we wanted to dig one of the decking, one of the level, one of the what? One of the decking, and we looked for 1 million naira. 1 million naira for about 2 weeks. Everything was set, but to get 1 million naira to complete the money to buy cement, I couldn't get it for about 2 weeks. If you say praise God, I will tell you why I'm trying to tell you the story. I was there looking for a lot. I didn't get it 2 weeks. Until somebody, then I was praying. And I didn't tell it to somebody. The only person that know that we are looking for 1 million is police. Somebody says, "Hi Shepherd, they walk in Galilee, supposed to pour. You've not poured. What is happening?" I smiled. I said, we are looking for 1 million naira to complete the money for. Then 1 trailer of cement is then 2,224,000 or something. Now it is about 3,339,000. That is 1 trailer, 900 bags. Then it was 2 million, 2 something. Then. So when I said, we are looking for 1 million, after like about few hours, he put it into my account. And then that was my last encounter with looking for money. I would like you to listen. God doesn't have plan to give you everything you want immediately, but it doesn't go away. Let me say again. I say God does not have plan to give you everything you want. Immediate, but he will not fail you. So your experience is part of your victory in the battle of destiny. I'm going away from it. I'm bringing to what I call the incorruptibility, exercising dominion. Exercising dominion through incorruptibility of God, exercising dominion through the incorruptibility of His word. Now I would like you to listen. Many of us that are here don't know how powerful the word incorruptibility is. The word incorruptible is not a religious word. The word incorruptible is synonymous to imperishable. It's synonymous to immutability, incorruptible. Now, I would like you to listen. About 2 weeks ago or last week, I shared something on the power of sin. Corruption is a great evil. Now, corruption is not a doing. All mortals are corrupt. So when you hear the word man, it is vulnerable. And the word vulnerable is synonymous to corruption. When the Bible says in the book of Peter, 1 Peter chapter 3, it says all men are like grass. It's talking about corruptible. So what the pastors teach us is that a man is smoking. And they don't teach the hunger, the thirst. They don't see the desire to smoke as sin. They see the finish. They don't see the nature of smoking as sin. They don't see the corruption that bring hunger to smoke. They saw that he smoked.